Okay, so the last video in the strategic positioning topic. Um, when you're trying to look at other companies in the industry, you do need to know who the market leaders are, what the distribution and trends are. If you're competing with just one region, try to focus on describing that region. So while it's really cool to have all of this IBIS World information from the libraries, sometimes what we really care about is the local competition. So like you might have a small business and who is within 10 miles, what other companies are within 10 miles that are your direct competition. You need to know that and explain how you compete against them. Other factors that you could consider. So these are all basically different types of factors that help you to differentiate your company from the other companies in the industry. So features, quality, durability, image, style, all of the social consciousness, those can be determinants of how you compete with other companies. So for example, those could be, if you're making a table or a figure, those could be columns. Those are ideas for different types of columns that you could put, that you could compare with competition. And then these internal factors, financial resources, economies of scale, strategic partnerships, company culture, those could be other factors that you could use to differentiate yourself. So we're back to the Hunger Games example. So you need to focus, basically. As you can see, all of these different competitors in the Hunger Games, they have different strengths. Some of them are strong, some of them are not. So you can't compete by being all things to all customers. It just doesn't work. So you have to focus on where you have comparative strengths. And there has to be some type of match between your product, organization, and market segment. So this is what takes really a lot of time when you're writing a business plan. Of course, you can write a business plan, but to make one that is, to make a business idea one that would actually work, you have to think about how you're going to position yourself relative to the competition so you actually win. Here's another example of a chart that I really like. Graphics. You need to use graphics in your business plan. So basically they compare different types of car rental companies along various different dimensions. It's helpful to know, again, you don't need to say that you're better on all factors. It's just important to know because this is something that will definitely come up in the minds of whoever's reading your business plan. What about the competition? And if they know anything about the competition and you don't actually mention those strengths, you can lose credibility by ignoring the competition. So you might want to think, one easy way of thinking about competition is just think about grocery stores, how they compete. So how is Costco competing with Trader Joe's? How do they position themselves so that they are not necessarily competing head to head, winning where they can? Or some of these other stores like Smith's, I guess Food for Less is gone, but Whole Foods, Albertsons, Sprouts. How do these companies compete and position themselves? Obviously, Trader Joe's is very small. Costco is big quantities, high quality. Smith's, Vons, and Albertsons provide pretty much everything, so they have lots more choices. Whole Foods is highest quality. So the reason that these companies are different is because they don't want to compete head to head with all of the other grocery companies. So you want to think about how you could do the same thing, so that if you're a new grocery company, you don't have to compete head to head with Smith's. You might want to try to figure out a way that you can not compete exactly head to head with any of these companies. You also have to think about potential entrants. So there's new entrants can come into the industry and really impact your competition. They may be from another location, so maybe you're the first of your kind of business in a particular location, and you think that this will help you to always be profitable, but there could be other competitors that come from other locations, in particular if you're very successful, or they could come from other industries. So Walmart did that in groceries. They came into the grocery industry and really have changed things, particularly in other countries like Latin America. So the interesting thing that I hope I've illustrated to you is that you do need to think about risks, and you do need to recognize that there are some companies that are better in some things than you, and then you're going to work to try to address those different risks. So what I don't want you to do is just try to close your eyes and avoid talking about any risks that you might have, because any reader of your business plan will know that there are risks. A lot of different types of risk. There's market risk. Your customers may not actually like what you have. There's competitive risk. You don't know exactly what the competition is going to do. There's technology risk, that technology can change. Execution risk. You might actually not be able to execute on the plans that you're doing, that you have. And capitalization risk, meaning that you may run out of money. So you want to think about those things, not just say, oh, we have these risks. But you actually say, there is this risk and this is how we're going to address it. How do you get information about these competitors? Well, you actually, instead of just going to the library, you do need to go and talk to customers, suppliers. You could attend trade shows. Of course, now, this is if you want to do this for real. These are the things that you're going to do. You go into look at online reviews of competitors. I mean, you need to be experts in your competition. Collect competitor trade literature, buy their product and see what it's like, visit their competition, talk with people in the field. And this is why generally it's a great idea if you've already worked in the industry before you do a new business in the industry, because you have a better understanding of these things than someone who would be new to the industry. Okay, that's it for strategic positioning.